Want to visit the world's most advanced laboratory? The world's oldest lab? The ultimate scientist? The ultimate engineer and designer? Just step outside. What do you see? You see a lab of nature, which is doing research and development for their survival and evolution for almost 4 billion years. Humans are inventive, determined, and passionate species. And it's this combination of qualities that has pushed us to invent and innovate for thousands of years, and has particularly exploded in the last 250 years since the first industrial revolution. We should be thankful to all our scientists and engineers who have provided all the amazing technology for us today to make our life better. In hindsight, we now recognize that in our production processes, we have not always been aware that the impacts for our developments and inventions are huge on nature, and these unintended consequences have resulted in the current climate change crisis. Data shows that human activity has increased climate change at an exponential rate. We all talk about climate change as extreme pollution, global warming, rising sea levels, deforestation, scarcity of natural resources and fresh water, overmining, ecological disturbance, but there is so much more. Haven't we overused nature in just 250 years? Or did we not learn from nature while designing new technologies? Today, I am going to talk about a practice that learns from and mimics nature's strategies to solve human design challenges. It's biomimicry, a term coined by Janine Benyus in 1997. It's about finding solutions through the eyes of nature. It's about the shapes, forms, models, systems, and processes that nature uses. Now, let's talk about some examples of biomimicry that I found the most fascinating. Let's start with Japan's fastest bullet train. The biggest problem was that when it exited tunnels, it made an unbearable sound. In order to solve this problem, engineers got inspired by the shape of a kingfisher's beak. The beak allowed the bird to dip into water without making a splash. The new design had many benefits. It allowed the train to go 10% faster, use 15% less energy, and exit tunnels without a deafening boom. The next innovation that I would like to talk about is very popular and appears in many places like your closet: Velcro. In 1941, an engineer went hiking with his dog and realized that there were many burrs stuck onto the dog's fur. He immediately went to examine the burr under a microscope and realized that the small hooks on the burrs stick exceedingly well onto the loops on the fabric. Getting inspired by this, he made a time saver for everybody. Biowave. Biowave is an ocean power system which produces energy by mimicking the swaying motion of underwater plants caused by ocean currents. As it sways, electricity is produced. The biowave is inspired by kelps. Kelps are underwater plants that sway in the water, caused by ocean currents. They are a vine-like plant with a long, thin, stem-like structure. Instead of being rigid, they sway with the motion of the currents. So, have you ever heard of a building that doesn't use air conditioning? A building in Zimbabwe called the Eastgate Building doesn't use air conditioning. By using an intelligent system of venting in and out air, an engineer called Mick Pierce wanted to challenge himself to design a building that was environmental friendly and one that does not waste a lot of energy. The Eastscape building is inspired by termite mounds. Termite mounds have the capabilities to regulate temperature regardless of temperature outside by using an intelligent system of venting in and out air throughout the day. The same technique is used for the Eastscape building. During the day, warm air is drawn up and exited through chimneys on the roof. In the night, low-power fans pull in cool air, which is stored in gaps, and later released throughout the building by pipes and other systems. So, how did you like these? Pretty impressive, right? Now, let me share with you one of my own stories. The other day, me and my dad were talking about something related to biomimicry until my little sister Natanya jumped in with her own idea and said, well, if biomimicry is inventions inspired by nature, I suppose the yoga poses like tree pose and cobra pose must also be a form of biomimicry, right? Absolutely. The cobra pose is inspired by the cobra in its ideal position. Clearly, there is still one question wandering through my head. Our generation is going to face the biggest problems related to environment and climate change. So, will biomimicry help in curbing climate change? Honestly, I don't have the answer to this question yet. But, but I strongly believe that we must look up to nature that has been so successful over millennia to launch groundbreaking ideas faster. We don't need to reinvent strategies that are already there. We just need to learn how to adapt to them. We are stressed. Our planet is stressed, and many of us are losing hope to solve the current climate change crisis. Luckily, innovations inspired by nature give us hope, because we know that the solutions to the greatest challenges are just here, accessible and validated by many species still alive today. Nature recycles everything. Nature only uses the energy it needs. Nature banks on diversity, and nature demands on local expertise. Today, let's promise ourselves to appreciate the biggest scientist, and let's learn from its innovations to make a better life in the coming years. Shh. Listen. Do you hear the sound of biomimicry? Thank you.